Okay, I think we are live. So, okay, this is Edmund Low here, and the reason why you're watching is because you are probably a subscriber of mine. You're also a customer. Maybe you've attended my seminars in the past as well, and some of you are also a member of the Lead Generation and Sales Funnels group as well. And some of you may have already anticipated this. We're doing a rather short, compact, but insightful live interview with Bryan from Singapore. And his claim to fame here, by the way, the name of his company is literally Hyper Fame here. All right. And his claim to fame, at least in my opinion, is that he has cracked the YouTube ads code. And as of the time of this video, right, there's been quite a crackdown or shutdown on Facebook ads going on in view of the presidential elections. I mean, if you ask me personally, I had heard about YouTube ads being high ROAS, good cost per lead. I've been hearing that since last year in 2019, but only now, even I personally am like starting to think seriously about doing YouTube ads. Okay, so let's not waste any more time. I've prepared a list of questions that I have, and maybe some of you have as well for Bryan. Okay, so I'm taking a look at Bryan's Facebook profile here right now. The last time he wrote about his achievement with YouTube ads is that he had generated $622,000 last year, and this from YouTube ads alone here. And just to clarify a little bit, Bryan doesn't just do YouTube ads. He has done quite a number of things. But as far as YouTube ads go, I think this is really, really good numbers. And I think it's like, maybe Bryan, can you just shed a bit more light about the results that you achieved here with YouTube ads?
Yeah, sure. So last year, we actually embarked onto YouTube ads. Similarly, had the same problem. Our Facebook accounts were getting shut down. CPMs were rising at the end of the year. And yeah, so when you market for trainers and consultants, it's very, very normal, especially in the BizOp or MMO space, that your Facebook ads get shut down unless you write in a very roundabout way. But roundabout way, sometimes also you won't get the cost per lead that you want. Or unless you have a very big brand, right? So previously last year we were having somebody run an affiliate BizOp offer, coaching offer, or a course offer. We were actually stopped by Facebook many times, and I was getting a bit annoyed. So I was looking at people who were actually embarking on the YouTube ads and felt that it was a viable option because there are only like so few competitors. Right now there are more, but it's still to me a blue ocean because there's so many. I mean, it's not as much as YouTube, Facebook itself, right?
Yeah, I kind of thought so, but I have to say that in recent times, I'm starting to see more YouTube ads.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's pretty cool, and that's quite a good insight here. So those of you that have been following me for quite a while, I've been posting quite a bit about Bryan's actually reshared posts. It's not my original content, all right? But his insights are really powerful, and I think a lot of you are in the same boat, not only with me, but where Bryan was a year ago as well, all right? So maybe, Bryan, something I've always been curious about is that who do you find that YouTube ads work best for?
Okay, so YouTube has a few things on why it's better. First is also because for me personally, what I felt that even for my local business clients, so to answer directly the question is, it helps anywhere, any business, as long as you are selling a high ticket service or definitely coaching, consulting, courses, even local business, actually you can use it. So a bit of background is that for our Kairos, our beauty clients, they're actually getting leads. I would say similar cost per lead on YouTube as well, and on Facebook, but actually higher purchases online. So that's a very good thing.
So you're
And
saying that there are more purchases from the YouTube channel, YouTube ads versus Facebook ads, even though the cost per lead was about the same.
yes, 100%. So
Oh,
yeah, that's why I say I want to actually explain a bit why YouTube ads more, right? Is the intent of the platform. So YouTube, personally, I think I go there to either entertain myself or to learn something new, right? So a lot of times people are there searching for solutions. So it's a very solution oriented slash search based platform itself. People are there either checking for reviews on certain products, checking for reviews on courses, looking into like how to learn different ads, different marketing, how to do certain things, right? So it's a very learning mood, right? Or even in a sense, people call it like also buying mode as well. So I think a recent study by Google is that actually I think 90% of people actually go on YouTube to find new products and services, and 60% actually make a decision through like reviews, through videos, and watching content there as well. So it's a very buying oriented place where actually people actually have very high intent, and combined with the search intent of Google itself, you get like kind of best of both worlds in the interrupt based marketing and the search intent based marketing. So it's kind of like combination of both, and where you are able to target the people where they are and at the highest intent possible. So you target a very different audience from comparison to Facebook or even Google search itself. So for us, it's a very we love it, but a lot of people don't really know how to utilize it very very well. So like for our clients itself, the reason why we're able to get higher purchase is not it's not only because the funnel is great, right? But it's also the creative is one of the core components.
Mm-hmm.
So example is that on a chiropractic niche, in Singapore, as you know, Singapore is very, very small. Right?
Yeah.
There are 90 chiropractors in Singapore.
Okay.
So basically it overlaps itself.
Yeah, I think I got more people attended my seminar than there are chiropractors in Singapore. And that's
100%.
saying something.
Yeah. So like it's so small and like there's so many competition and
Yeah.
but there's very little people using YouTube ads, right? So we took ourselves a challenge, like, can we do it for local businesses? So we did it for a local site. For chiropractor, we spent around, I think Singapore is slightly more expensive than Malaysia. So, or even in US and stuff, right? So we spent around $2,500 Sing dollars. We got around 70 to 80 appointments.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And
Maybe if I just want to ask real quick, these clients that Hyperfame and yourself have been working with, are they all Singaporeans or are there any like non-Singapore clients as well?
yeah, so we work with both international and Singaporean clients.
Oh,
So,
that's great to hear. So
yeah.
those that are hearing this, it's not just for Singapore, by the way. And I think it's also good to know that here's how I view it is that if you can win in Singapore, I think you can win almost anywhere else in the world. Yeah. I think that's quite spot on, right?
Yeah. Because okay, even for I would say the coaching and course space, Singapore is super small. Right?
Yeah. Your competitor could be literally living in your backyard or in the same flat. It's kind of, I don't know, just hard to imagine that.
It's a very highly competitive, I would say, market.
Yeah, your competitor could be living practically in the same block as you.
Yeah. However, like a lot of people think that, hey, if it works for Singapore, like what I say, does it work for other places? So right now we are actually scaling to international for our clients in Singapore and actually getting scaling international clients overseas as well. So it definitely 100% work. And I find it work better. The framework that I use actually works better than the videos that people are actually producing, because we actually YouTube is a relatively new platform in terms of ads, and a lot of people are actually getting on it, but people don't really understand how to maximize the potential on it to a certain extent. So a lot of people use like just basically their phones, right?
Yeah.
And just do a selfie video.
Yeah.
I mean, those are great, but what is the content of the video? How do you actually position? How do you actually say the messaging is very, very important. Like a lot of people try it and actually fail. A few of them actually, people that consulted me tried running ads for affiliate offers, trying ads for I think coaching offers, and it didn't work out. And I diagnosed the problem as not working out. It's not because their funnel don't work or their sales or offer don't work. It's rather the way what they say and their messaging, it's a bit not relevant. So in terms of YouTube versus Facebook, in Facebook you can actually put a random picture.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I've been doing as well.
And it will work, and it will 100% work, right? But compared to if you do it on YouTube, you just put like random, no links, not congruent at all, it will not work because the messaging is.
Am I right to say that even though it might be the same people that are using both Facebook and YouTube, but because we behave differently on different platforms, that's why we cannot use the same approach?
Yeah. So it's basically how you react on, like in Facebook, it's very interrupt based, right? So if you get an interrupt based pattern interrupt image, it's good because you want them to stop and read your copy and to read what is it more about and read your funnel. But on YouTube, it is interrupt and search based. So first thing first is you want interrupt in your first 10 seconds. But second thing is also you want to disqualify and actually qualify people that's the right fit for you. So sometimes YouTube, the algorithm won't know who exactly you are qualifying, even though you can actually target and do very specifically. But for example, if you're targeting mass market, if a business offer, you can just say stay-at-home moms, very, very outrightly if you want to earn more money, right? But for example, if you are very, very defined, you're targeting a 10K coaching offer specifically for, let's just say, business owners with revenue above 6 figures every single month or every single year, right? So that's a very, very specific target
Yeah,
audience.
that's
So you
right.
need to disqualify people immediately so
Yeah.
that you don't waste money on YouTube itself.
Yeah. I read your post that you mentioned something along those lines where within the first 15 seconds is the most important, the first five, and then the next 10 to 15 seconds, where if you're interested, continue watching, or if not, please skip, something like that. And I thought that made a lot of sense because I did see some YouTube ads that were something like that. Okay. And maybe we just move on to the next question that I have for you as well. We were talking about how Facebook ads are quite notorious for disabling accounts, even though you play by the book. And I had a spotless record for 1.5 years, didn't do anything wrong whatsoever, got all my accounts back. And 2020 has been a very challenging year, not only for me, but I think for a lot of people as well.
Even
And
me.
as of the time of this video, guys, I had a series of business accounts that got disabled by FB, even though they had no ad rejection history. Uh, some of them very, very clean. I think I can confidently say I know my game inside out, and that still happened. People were speculating that it's got to do with the upcoming US presidential elections. I've been hearing that not from peers only, but people that are spending like 6 figures a month on Facebook ads as well. So what I want to know, Bryan, is that I know you told me before, but I want to hear it from you directly and also for everyone else to hear it. Does YouTube or Google, since Google is the owner, do they have this notorious issue of disabling accounts as well? Does it take a lot of effort to get your account disabled?
It's actually very hard to get your account disabled. So when I hear people account disabled, I like, huh? Oh, what do you do, man? Like, do you sell like some crypto or something like on there or something, like a scam or something? So I personally have videos being disabled, but they tell you why they disable it. And if you talk to a rep, they will tell you exactly which part you need to take out.
Okay, so no speculations, yeah?
No. So I have a friend also that he speak in Chinese. So I thought Chinese like he has some income claims in Chinese. And I thought like can pass one because Chinese, right? Because they might not, the bot might not recognize, right? Chinese man. So then specifically a Google rep told him the video is disabled because you just say 6 figure, you can earn 6 figure in Chinese at this point, this timestamp to this timestamp, you need to take this out. Then like it's so specific, they tell you exactly why it can't run. And you actually can rectify it and actually run, right? So and that's great because they are communicating with you. As long as you actually email in and stuff like that, they will actually tell you exactly what can you do to rectify the situation and how can you continue running it. But
Right. You know, you're telling me things I want to hear right now.
but one thing to note is that sometimes your ads don't run, and you don't know why. It's not because it's disabled or whatnot, but rather Google has a very strict policy on COVID related issues. So anything if you show COVID, right, the word itself, it won't run. So you need to go and scrutinize your every single like line or every single video, every single image inside your news
the
article.
frame, right?
Correct, every single thing. So last time when we running, we actually show our frame of our Facebook page, like Facebook account, right? So Facebook account got one side, got one small little note there, COVID like issue. They're like,
the notice, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they're able to scan that out, all right? Yeah. So basically, even though from what I'm gathering is that YouTube ads doesn't have the kind of fussiness that Facebook ads is having, but of course there's still something to watch out for. Like first of all, don't be too scammy. Of course, don't go there to begin with. And I think the one sensitive word is COVID as well, and not to mention that at all in any frame whatsoever, even though it might be a passing remark, right? Okay, got it. So there's one concern that I do have because I did try, okay, I think the keyword here is just try YouTube ads, right? And I find that it's primitive, if I can sum it up in one word, compared to Facebook ads. You know, you can just put detailed interests and go for broad targeting. But when it came to YouTube ads, I personally found it to be complex. Do you find that to be the case? Is it complex or is it easy to learn?
Actually, to be honest, Google ads, PPC and YouTube ads are easier to learn than, or easier to do than
easier.
Facebook. Yeah, because Facebook has a lot of, I'll be honest, like bidding and the strategy, there's a lot of complex strategy on Facebook, right?
Okay.
So for me, my only strategy is if it's doing well, scale, and how to test. So I have a testing phase and a scaling phase, right? And for me, like within the testing phase of spending like less than $1,000, like for example, my coaches, right? I will know which target CPL is great. I hitting my targets and I scale. And when I scale, it doesn't fluctuate. Right? Sometimes it even gets lower because they find the right audience faster.
Oh, wow. So maybe that kind of goes to the next question. It's kind of like either I'm on track with you or you're reading my mind already. We always compare about, the AI for Facebook and Google. When I say Google, because YouTube is part of Google anyway. All right. People claim that the AI for Facebook is smarter than Google, and the targeting is a lot more refined than Google. So do you find that to be the case?
To be honest, not really. I feel like similar, but and Google actually might have more information about your target audience than Facebook does.
Oh, wow. So has it been recent times or has it always been that way?
Because Google is a search engine, right? So basically, they have database they are not telling you about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like if you see the recent news in elections or like when like Facebook and Google was put into like the parliament to like in the US to talk about their data privacy and stuff. Actually,
Yep.
Google has a lot of monopoly on data, but they just don't tell you they have because they're not
All
supposed to,
right.
and you cannot have a monopoly in terms of the tech space as well.
Right.
This is not by me. I think you cannot take me for it, but this is how I feel, my opinion on it.
Mhm.
Another thing is that they have targeting in terms of household income.
Yeah, I've been seeing that also in one of the sections when doing the Google ads as well. I just took a look at my own Google ads account the other way before I did this call with you. And yeah, I have to say maybe because I got my start with Facebook ads. So when I look at Google, I looked at it a bit different. But I do recognize that, especially at a time like this and moving forward, um, being able to learn how to do YouTube ads allows the marketer to be ambidextrous in business rather than just using the right hand, which is more Facebook ads. I think, am I right to say that you still use Facebook ads, but you do both? It's kind of ambidextrous to you. Do you find that to be the case?
Yeah, so I use both for my clients depending on which actually does better in terms of the video creatives, right? So
Right.
um it really depends on the video that I have for them and we take for them. So if it's just a process video, no talking, I will not suggest you to go YouTube because you will not do well at all.
Right. Okay.
You will
So
never do well.
in this case, right, is it possible to make a business income just from YouTube ads alone and forego Facebook ads, or do you still need both?
Yeah, you can actually use either one or okay, so like my thing is really simple.
All right.
Focus on one until you hit at least six figures for like at least a year.
Right. So
Maybe
let's just say if a complete beginner for now hasn't mastered either one of this platform, and this person happens to start with YouTube ads, do you think that's still viable, or do you still think that this person should go Facebook first and then YouTube?
um it really
How does
depends
that
on
work?
the offer, like to be very honest. If you're a marketer, obviously you either or doesn't matter because your client has the offer, right?
Right.
But if you are you're a person with like your own digital product, your own offers, your own coaching program, I would say you need to test your messaging faster on Facebook. So
Right.
I won't, because I'm a YouTube advocate, I won't say that you need to test on YouTube because it takes a lot of time to test on YouTube. So
I
like
do agree on
videos and
that. Yeah.
everything, right? So I rather you test on Facebook, at least get the initial results, get it to at least a scaling stage, and then diversify to YouTube.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense because I've heard that from a couple of expert marketers where, let's say you haven't mastered any of them, it's better to start with Facebook. And I think to just add a little bit more, it's also because at least with Facebook, you can do both image and or video ad creative. So you can test things faster, make some income, and then you can start pouring into YouTube ads, preferably as soon as possible. And what some of these guys do is that they use Facebook as the main traffic and they use YouTube ads for retargeting as well. Do you do that personally?
I do the other way around.
The other way around. So that means cold traffic comes from YouTube, right?
Yeah. So higher
Okay.
intent. So cold traffic that comes from YouTube actually converts retargeting very, very well. But you need to remind them in a sense. A lot of people, okay, so going back to the ad structure, right, or like the video structure is that a lot of
Okay.
people just do testimonial videos on their webinars, their course, and etc.
Yeah, that is so one direction. Yeah.
Yeah, but like if you're watching YouTube, right, as as an audience, you suddenly get hit by a testimonial. It's like,
Who are you, right?
yeah, who was this and where is this from? I don't remember anything, right? But
Yeah.
on Facebook, at least you know, hey, this is from this person, then this got this copy, right?
Right. Yeah. I think that part makes a lot of sense because I think the same goes for Facebook because you have no idea who this person is. And to hit right off the bat with a testimonial is like, who are you? Compared to someone who might have at least been to your website, at least I've heard about you before. So that's more like a follow-up
Yeah.
intent.
So
All right.
I think he's saying more in terms of like even when retargeting, you shouldn't hit with testimonial videos.
Yeah.
You should always set the
Okay.
context first, right? So like you always say like,
True.
hey, I noticed that you actually didn't, you landed on my page or you watched my video and you didn't opt in. So
Yeah.
yeah, then you can actually state your arguments, state your objections, and to handle them, right? Then after that, you do a testimonial supercut, and that's much better. We actually tested this. We get much better results with people just saying, even without testimonial, people just saying that, hey, you can opt in, or like, I noticed you didn't opt in, and this is some of my results, and this is why you should opt in. Compared to I just throw testimonial in, the person just saying it, we get lower cost per lead or half the amount of cost per lead compared to just a testimonial video.
Yeah. So we've been talking quite a bit about cost per lead, right? When it comes to at least Facebook ads, I know maybe this might not be the case for Singapore, US, and some tier one countries, but normally people can start like 5 to 10 USD a day just to get things going. What about YouTube ads? What would be the so-called minimum or yeah, maybe a minimum budget for beginners to just test things out?
That's why I don't really recommend YouTube as a testing ground, because if you
right.
want to testing out, you can't test it fast, and you need to create multiple videos in terms of messaging
Okay.
compared to Facebook. But in terms of if you already have your offer dialed in, if you already have your messaging and the right angle dialed in, I will test with at least $50 a day.
50.
Yeah, and test for 3 days. So within the 3 days, you already know whether it's working or not.
Okay, so safely we should set aside $150 or 200 somewhere there for the first 3 days, and with the condition that this offer has already been tested, maybe with like Facebook ads or other platforms before, right? Okay, got it.
So if it's a very easy offer, like a self-liquidating offer that you already know converts, yeah, you can easily actually throw up and run at $50 a day, and you know whether it works. So example, one of our chiropractors is I would say it's a proven offer. Most of the local businesses have proven offers because it's tried, tested, proven by a lot of other competitors. Yeah, you don't need to, it's not something that is new. Rather, as long as you can throw up a great video, tell your story, tell your unique mechanism, or in the sense USP, right? You should be able to get around consistent CPL similar to your Facebook, and then maybe high intent people actually turning up. So I give example is that we have on YouTube, we have 50% appointment rate for our chiros. That's very high. I mean, his follow-up is one part of it, but 30, I think around 30 to 40% is paid directly online. He doesn't need to talk to them. Yeah, so that's a very high intent.
That's awesome to hear. All right, so moving on, right? You've talked quite a bit about creatives and intention and things like that, right? I have a little bit of embarrassment here. Now, I have quite some successful videos that do well, video ads for Facebook, but I do agree that if they had moved to a platform like YouTube, right, it's probably going to fall flat because when it comes to Facebook, people are less aware of the quality of the videos, you see. So it could be just done on a smartphone or something like that, or with a bit of low effort editing. But when it comes to video on YouTube, right, suddenly people become more aware of the quality. And I think at this point, I want to ask something a little bit more technical, and that's like, do you have like any particular camera and sound equipment that you recommend people to get?
Actually, your phone will do, to be very honest.
All right.
Okay, so like usually, right, I wouldn't suggest you investing in camera equipment until you get the messaging right.
Okay.
Right. So that's the first.
With a dual camera would be more than enough, right?
Yeah, so you get just your phone and get a lavalier mic, just plug into your, like, basically your, if you have a port lah. You don't have that, it's Bluetooth like lavalier mic.
Okay.
Thing.
Any particular brand for lavalier mic that you would recommend?
Not really. I usually get those from like Amazon and China, like just
any one of them. I'm asking maybe because personally, audio has always been my bane. If you watch any of my previous videos, right? Okay, at least I'm using a Blue Yeti mic at home right now for my laptop, but sound has always been a problem for me, and I think some people might have that problem as well. Yeah. But that's interesting to hear that a smartphone would do. But what about editing? Like, do you have any like particular video making software that you would recommend, or something you would?
Okay. I think to your point on mic, right? Currently, we're using Rode mic for our cameras equipment. It's like it's like Rode wireless mic.
Okay.
That's a very good sound quality. If people want, I think you should suggest you to get it because it's wireless. It can link to your camera and your phone as well. Back to your questions about you're talking about editing
software, right? Yeah.
Editing. Editing wise, I don't touch to be real.
Okay.
But I know the direction of the edits. So usually for edits, similar to, so content wise, what video do you watch? Do you watch a talking head for 10 minutes? Be able to stand that?
I think no. I mean, it can get kind of boring somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even if it's 1 to 3 minutes, if you have a talking head video with music, even with music, right, edited in, it's very boring.
Yeah.
So you need
Some better income and some
B-rolls.
cuts here and there.
All right. You need B-rolls to, I would say a bit go cast type of videos. Like go cast have a lot of random cuts in between to talk about. Then one person speaking, right? Something similar to that. Second thing is also about proof. So a lot of times people only do a lot of like VSL type, affiliate VSL type of videos, like mainly like a lot of like a lot of B-rolls, like cinematic B-rolls. Go hospital, go earn money, family left you, debt, whatever, right? A lot of those B-rolls. Those are great, but if you have your own B-rolls, there'll be a higher level tier, right? Example, if you actually have people acting, if you have like really your family in it, you have pictures of your family, if you have pictures of your dad, if you have pictures of your house getting repossessed, those are very hard hitting emotional.
Oh shit! I prefer use a stock photo video for that one.
No, you can't. Like if you use that, it still works, but what is personalized to you that you only you can
That's true. Yeah.
works much better, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's just a picture, it works 10 times better than like just a stock video image or image. So like
true,
yeah, so like if you're standing in crossroads, maybe you have a video of you getting so like working so hard, but you just knocked out one day, and a friend took video of you, a picture of video of you, that just putting that thing and
Yeah.
just telling people that story hit home because they can relate very
Yeah,
well.
even if it's for a couple of seconds, yeah.
Yeah, even if it's covered for seconds.
Right. That's awesome to hear. So maybe the next couple more questions, right, is that we talked about how for a start, you might want to set aside like $50 a day for the next like 3 or 4 days, right? And again, with the condition that this offer has been tested on other platforms, maybe Facebook or maybe through their own other means. And once this converts, right, what's your mindset in terms of scaling that? I mean, of course, I know the easy answer is like plonk in like your life savings and go on, but I'm sure there's supposed to be a step towards it, right?
Yeah. So in my mastermind, they actually pay a lot of money, and my friends were actually doing like a lot of money with overseas clients and basically US, UK, all the tier 1 countries, right? They're running ads for them. So they are very like you, they're similar as you, like Facebook expert as well. They give me one advice that I think I hold very dearly right now. So one thing, you're not scaling high enough if it's not 3x.
Right? All right, so we're looking for a 3 times multiplier before we scale, yeah?
No, so that is like my mantra, right? So meaning basically, if it's 10x now, you're not scaling high enough.
Oh, okay.
If it's 3x, maybe you hit the maximum for the ad set.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So every time when it's like, oh, I'm hitting 6x right now, I will tell my media buyer scale because you're not hitting high enough, right? So
that's true. So because the more you spend, theoretically the profit margin should be thinner because you're reaching out to more people, right? So if it's like 6x or 10x right now, I guess by the time you start spending more, it might drop to like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times maybe, right? Okay. I think that makes a lot of sense as well. All right.
And I think in terms of scaling, we follow by 20% increment every 2 days.
Every 2 days. So you do scale cautiously at 20% every 2 days, yeah?
Yeah. We don't duplicate or do scale horizontally. For me in Singapore, that's not what we do. But in terms of US, that's what we do. Because Singapore is very small, so we don't duplicate because it cannibalize
everybody anyway.
Yeah, just practically hitting everybody.
All right. And okay, I think this is a limiting belief, but I gotta ask you anyway. You know, there's always a common complaint from users that always skip ads because they're like, who the heck watches all these ads? They're always skipping anyway. So if you are an advertiser, right, and even you feel that way, is there any truth to all these claims, not that skip ads and all that?
I think the people who use YouTube ads as the infancy has risen to fame, and people are still complaining about them.
Right. So the behavior has become a lot different than last time, yeah?
Yes, but so like for me, right, if people are skipping or people are complaining about you, right, it's a good thing rather than a bad thing.
Oh, okay. I mean, not about me or you in particular, but in general, they will just skip ads. So they are like, what's the point of advertising if people are always skipping ads? You see?
Yeah. So actually, I don't see that. So people who actually skip ads are maybe if you are targeting incongruency.
Right.
So if I like, okay, if I'm watching some Twitch streamer, then you show me some random investing course, then I'm like, what's this?
Oh, that's true. So it's got to be congruent. I think one example I can think of congruency is that every time I look at a e-commerce related video, there's always that I don't know that there's this guy like everything you learn about e-commerce is a lie. See, even I remember that first.
John Mark, right? John Mack or something.
I think it's probably him. That video has been there since last year. But if I watch any other video, I'm not going to see that. But if I watch an e-commerce related video, that would show up first. And I was thinking to myself, that makes a lot of sense because if I have a webinar that I plan to run, obviously I don't want to show it when someone's watching some movie clips or some video game clips, and then Edmund Lowe shows up or Bryan shows up. I was like, who the heck are these dudes? Is he?
100%.
Yeah. Oh, that's really, really amazing. So I think I've asked you the questions that I would like to know. And I think some people may be asking as well. But of course, when it comes to like really, really doing it, that's where more of the quality questions would come in. And I also respect your time. But I do understand that you're going to be having a very exclusive one-day online workshop called the YouTube Ads Masterclass. Mind telling us more about it?
Yeah, so actually a lot of, I would say, marketers and a lot of like coaches have been asking me how we are doing it for YouTube ads and why are we scaling so stably in a sense. Or like, I think one recent consultation that I had was people actually say, hey, I duplicate my ad sets and stuff like that, but after 3 days, it just dies. And I'm like, ours just lasts for 2 to 3 months before we change creative. So I don't know why yours is like that. Right. So then I was thinking like to myself, hey, we maybe cracked something that actually we didn't realize about that. And creative is something that a lot of people focus on, but actually people don't really have a framework, a template, or way to actually generate new messaging out of a proven messaging as well. So that's why we take pride on with our clients, and we really deep dive every single in terms of creative scripting and even scaling and even retargeting strategies and all this kind of fun stuff, right? So this class is really about exactly behind the scenes of our agencies, exactly what the frameworks and processes that we use to scale our clients to 7 figures in terms of both locally and in Singapore, Malaysia, Asia-wise, and actually international as well. So if you are a coach, consultant, or maybe a business owner looking to actually utilize a different type of platform, diversify your traffic and eventually duplicate your revenue as well, right? And that's the key, right? We don't want you to focus on one platform, but diversify and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Let's just say somebody just banned you one day and then you scramble to actually find a solution. So don't do that. Rather learn a skill or actually find a person that actually can do it for you and actually get both sides running. It's like your basically your stock or investment, right? You don't buy one stock and just hold it all the way until you own.
Or put all your eggs in one basket in this case. It's interesting that you mentioned, I know you told me before in person about this works for coach, consultant, trainers, people that do webinars, maybe seminars, if not for what's going on right now. But what about e-commerce and product sellers? Do you think this is a suitable masterclass for them?
Actually, a lot of e-commerce, they are doing well. If you know, like Dr. Squash Soap, Harman Brothers did a lot of video, right?
Right.
And even I think like Dollar Shave Club, if I'm not wrong.
Dollar Shave Club. Oh yeah, I've heard about them as well.
From YouTube ads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you think people that do e-commerce, are they suitable for this particular workshop with you?
Yeah, same thing. If you are starting out, you can learn, but this will not be something applicable in the short term, right? But if you already have an e-com brand that's actually doing well on Facebook, or but you're trying to crack a YouTube code, this is something highly recommended.
Right.
Because why? One thing is that e-commerce videos are. So I've seen people that actually run e-commerce video that kind of suck, and I know why they don't work. Exactly why I know why they don't work, because they don't target the pain points, they don't target the comparison. E-commerce is a really different game in terms of video, but the similar framework actually works very, very well. So I had a client recently that came in for like sanitary pads, and that's like a freaking hard niche to do. Right? Like freaking hell, recycle, reusable, eco-friendly sanitary pad, female hygiene products.
Okay.
And I'm like, how do you do YouTube ads, right? So I gave him some advice, and he's actually going to create a very good, like, fun video. And contrary to belief, like what you say, production value for e-commerce you need higher, right? Harman Brother level. You need great script. You need to spend $100,000 on e-com videos. You don't need to do that. Rather, you need to have a good production. Meaning, if you have a production studio, and we have talents, and you have UGC, user-generated content, this is more than enough to actually create your testing.
Got it.
Yeah. So I would still highly recommend YouTube because it's not as crowded. And if you are in a niche that is not even on, basically, there's no competition there. Basically, you're in a blue ocean, and the first mover always wins.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I operate in Malaysia. I think there's even more blue ocean.
Yeah, 100%.
That's great to hear. Well, I guess in
as well.
summary, right? I think for people to learn YouTube ads with you, the condition is that they are along the lines of coach, consultant, trainers. If they're doing e-commerce, then it's ideal that they already have a platform that they are already working on that's doing well for them before they diversify into YouTube ads with you. And when it comes to like production and all that, it's better that, of course, they have a smartphone, they have some basic equipment, and to put most of the investment into more like the YouTube ads itself. Of course, the video must make a lot of sense, and it's got to be watch-worthy, basically, because if they come up with some crappy or off the template kind of video, right, they can spend a lot of money on production and all that, but if it's not congruent or it misses the mark, there's no point, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, and how long does the YouTube ads class run?
It's one full day. So I'll be actually sharing about what Edmund you have said, how to actually framework your script, how to actually make it make sense, and actually have like a 80% chance of like making it work. Means a lot of people actually just try random scripts, right? But for us, we have a framework to actually follow by, and follow by very strongly. And it, most of the time when you run a new ad, it works off the, like just without any test. Like we test immediately, it just works. So that's like our framework that we actually use for internal clients. And secondly, we teach you the research phase on how to actually even get big ideas, all the fancy stuff that a lot of people say they cannot find YouTube ads hacking. They can't hack YouTube ads, right? So I have that system and have that strategy in place to actually teach my team. So I'll be sharing that framework as well on how we actually get YouTube ads, how to get competitor ads, be it on Facebook or YouTube, and how we break them down and get the big idea, and how can we modify the script as well. And other things is more fanciful stuff is like a qualifier mechanism. So we have a qualifier mechanism that we use to actually reduce ad costs. So like what you say, we disqualify people, we qualify people, and we entice people to actually get them onto your webinars, on your coaching call, be it whatever that you're selling, or even your local business, or buy even a digital product itself. And last thing is really the YouTube ads 101, exactly technically how to run ads. I don't think that is a very long portion, to be very honest, because running ads is just knowing how to structure your ad account strategy-wise, and then where to click.
Okay, yeah. That's awesome.
And how to scale.
One day is enough to cover all this, just one day.
Yes. Basically, because one day, anymore is just like, okay, so we are agency, so we are not a coaching thing. I'll give you all the tangible and how applicable steps rather than I wouldn't say like 3 days usually is more like a mindset, how to actually get your target audience. So I say this is really not for beginners. It's people who want to actually just straight away go in, learn how to diversify, and actually after the class you're able to diversify much better and actually scale stably on YouTube as well.
Yeah. So I understand that you're mainly an agency. That's what Hyperfame is. You're not a seminar / coaching kind of business. So I think am I right to say that when you do this YouTube ads class, right? Oh, by the way, the class is going to be online, everybody. Everyone will attend in the Zoom call, something like this right now. And it's limited spots, not really a lot of people. And as Bryan had pointed out, it's not really for beginners. If you've already started making quite some income from other platforms like Facebook or maybe your own network of people, then this is going to be for you, because you don't want to depend on just one or two places, and you want something that's more lasting. But also with that said, right, because I know that Hyperfame and Bryan, they are not a coaching kind of business as a core, but are you going to provide any kind of like, I wouldn't say like support, but more like, sometimes, when they create the videos, they run it for 3 days, they need some troubleshooting. It might not fly initially. Do you provide like insights into what these people are going to do?
Yeah, actually we do that. In terms of like, I mean, basically wise, I was thinking of actually creating a group and stuff like that to actually facilitate more reviews and learning. But we won't do that because you buy, but rather in terms of like, if you guys need help and you actually join my class and stuff like that. For me, agency wise, it's very, very simple. My motto is actually to give more value and to scale also the unscalable, right? So basically, if I have time, I'll reply. If my team has time, they will reply itself. But it won't be like a set thing that we actually do, but rather that if you need help or you can just basically ask us, we will try our best to help you as well.
Okay, got it. So understandable. So guys, I think in conclusion, right, they're going to do a very exclusive 1-day YouTube Ads online workshop whole day. It doesn't take like 3 or 5 days for that matter. And I have to say that for me personally, I find it a little bit hard to believe that you could get everything done in a day. But hey, Bryan's the expert over here. And I think instead of thinking why it's not 3 days or 5 days, I think we should look at it as if I can learn it in 1 day compared to trying on my own for the next few months or the next couple of years, I think that's a very valuable thing, okay? And of course, I'm sure Bryan agrees with me on this one, is that you don't just, if you don't use it, you will lose it eventually. So if you're gonna join this YouTube Ads class, right, you wanna be damn sure that you will implement everything that he has to share, and to also respect that they're not a coaching business first, but of course, Bryan here has also given his word that if you're doing the videos and they can still help you out a little bit in terms of like advice or feedback, all right? But of course, the real criteria here is that you got to do the videos first and actually run them, because if you haven't done anything, I think Bryan can't really help you out, all right? And I say that also as a coach and a trainer myself, because sometimes I do want to help people out, but if they haven't gotten anything done, there's really nothing to talk about here, okay? So I think that's all there is to it, Bryan. Thank you so much for your time. And for the rest of you that are listening to this, what's going to happen is that I'm going to leave a link either below this video if you're seeing this on Facebook group, or if you're watching this in a YouTube or video or page whatsoever, I'm going to leave a link. All right, go check out Bryan's 1-day YouTube Ads Masterclass, and it's truly limited because, not a gimmick by the way. He told me a couple of times that, or even a few times, this is going to be a one-off thing. Okay, so it's not a gimmick, it's not a scarcity trick or anything like that. Their main business is in serving clients and probably their own products as well. But guys, if any of you are seeing this Facebook ads that's been having quite some ad disabling accounts in recent times, we're not sure when they're going to pull this off again. I hope it's a one-time, but all bets are off. But if you already mastered Facebook ads as well, you've got quite some results there, and you want to start diversifying your traffic, the next best place is YouTube ads. All right. If you don't join this class, I can't force you or anything like that. Bryan can't force you as well. Like you said, I think you're quite close to selling out by now, right?
Yeah. Actually, without you actually initiating this, I would technically close already.
Yeah, so I'm just keeping the doors a little bit more open, okay? Because if you guys don't want to join, I'm gonna go in, take what Bryan has to share here. I'm keeping Malaysia for myself, all right? So if you want to have a share of pie in Malaysia or maybe in your respective countries, join this. Seriously, it's going to be worth every cent and dollar that you invest in compared to trying to figure things out for yourself. Okay, so Bryan, thanks again for your time. It's been quite an insightful interview, and talk to you the next time around, whether it's online or hopefully in person when the borders are open again. Okay,
yeah, bro. See you.
All right, thanks a lot. And for the rest of you, I'll share the link with you very soon. You take care.